Well, the fight continues to return the mistakenly deported Maryland man Kilmar Abrego Garcia. In a new court filing, his lawyers argue that the administration is stonewalling and wasting time a full month after the U.S. Supreme Court found his removal to be illegal. So let's bring in CBS News Department of Justice correspondent Scott MacFarlane, who has been following the story from day one. Scott, can you break down this overnight court filing for us?
All of it is a prelude to the next hearing in this case, a potentially pivotal hearing on Thursday just outside of Washington, D.C. Both sides have exchanged another set of legal punches in what has been a months-long legal brawl. Abrego Garcia's attorneys argue that the administration is simply slow-walking everything in this case. A federal court judge in Maryland has already ordered Abrego Garcia's return to the U.S. The Supreme Court has ordered the administration to facilitate his return to the U.S. from that Salvadoran detention center. Yet, a month later, after the Supreme Court's ruling, Abrego Garcia is unmoved. He remains in El Salvador. The argument from the lawyers for Abrego Garcia is that the administration is not being forthcoming, not being urgent with the communications with El Salvador. And the administration, for its part, is telling a judge a lot of what is being asked for in this case are state secrets, sensitive diplomatic matters between the U.S. and El Salvador. The judge in this case, Judge Paul Azinis, can try to iron some of this out Thursday in the afternoon hearing.
And Scott, I want to pivot for a moment to another headline you've been following. A group of white South Africans are now in the U.S. after Trump granted them expedited refugee status. Can you give us kind of the background of this story and why Trump is expediting the South African resettlements but stopped all other refugee admissions?
This was quite a sight. I was there at Dulles International Airport in Virginia when this group of 59 arrived yesterday. And you could see the first ones into the hangar were children with their plush toys and their headphones from the long flight and their parents. The group likely to be ushered to U.S. communities elsewhere to start a new life there. These are refugees officially resettled by the Trump administration. But the critics of the administration argue this group is arriving here in expedited, urgent fashion, even as the administration closes the faucet of other resettlements and other refugees from other parts of the country, ones without quite the history of South Africa. We'll see if more groups come. The administration indicated that there could be future trips, but the administration also defends this transport, telling us yesterday that these individuals, the ones you see there on your screen, were living in harrowing conditions with the death threats hanging over them.
And Scott, I want to go back to some court cases that we've been following as well this week. Some important dates happening this week. One for the mayor of Newark and the other for a Wisconsin judge. Can you tell us about those cases and what we can expect this week?
Two very different cases, but similar in that they're high profile. The mayor of Newark, Ross Baraka, was arrested on Friday, allegedly for entering restricted space at a detention center in Newark, part of an inspection, he says, along with members of Congress. There was a hearing on the schedule for Thursday in this federal criminal case. The Department of Justice has said they don't have to have this hearing. It's what they call a petty offense, a low-level offense, likely on a slower path, one that doesn't require a hearing on Thursday, and a judge agrees. But also Thursday, there will be a hearing in the federal criminal case against Wisconsin local judge Hannah Dugan, who is accused of a federal crime of obstructing federal agents who were outside her courtroom a few weeks ago to detain a criminal defendant on an immigration matter. They accuse Dugan of rerouting that would-be deportee and, in the process, obstructing the federal government. She'll have her arraignment Thursday at federal court in Milwaukee, where she can enter a not guilty plea to the charge. She has not commented since her arrest, which was publicized in a social media perp walk photo by FBI Director Kash Patel.
All right, Scott MacFarlane, thank you so much.